All right, let's keep things going here on the Elias Macko Show and talk about just how prepared we all are for artificial intelligence and the various chatbots and new technologies that are coming our way. Now, Snapchat recently launched a new feature for an artificial intelligence chatbot. It is raising alarms for teens and their parents. The feature is called My AI Chatbot. It is powered by ChatGPT. Of course, that artificial intelligence service that has been getting a lot of attention of late. And just like ChatGPT, it can answer questions and converse with users. The main difference here, however, is that it can customize its name, design a custom Bitmoji avatar. That's a sort of digital photo of the chatbot, and bring it into conversations with friends. Some are questioning the interactions that the chatbot is having with its younger users. And in some cases, the bot has already been called out for giving children suggestions on how to lie to their parents. Oh boy. Sinead Bovell joins us, founder of WAYE, a startup that helps prepare youth for a future with advanced technologies. Sinead, welcome to the program.
Hi there. Thanks so much for having me.
Listen, it just seems like it's not just youth. I think we all need to be prepared for this sea change that is coming. Or, from your perspective, Sinead, are we underestimating, overestimating all of this?
So I think both are true. I think AI is obviously moving at quite a record and rapid pace. And it's going to have quite a big impact. And I'll say here as a futurist, what we've seen with AI isn't even close to kind of how much is going to be transformed over the next few decades. We are at almost like the pre-Cambrian explosion era of intelligence. But I think what isn't necessarily keeping up with pace is guardrails and safety measures. We're kind of in this competitive dynamic where businesses are really rushing to be on the front lines of this technology. And there are casualties that can come with that when we don't think critically about it and make sure we're moving at a safe speed with the proper protocols in place. And then especially when it comes to chatbots and things that are very easy to interface with.
Well, in technology, you want to be first. And I imagine that's why there is such a rush here, especially for social media companies who are all about eyeballs. So why don't you tell our listeners here about what Snapchat is doing and what makes it unique in the AI, artificial intelligence space?
Yeah, so what users might be, what listeners might be familiar with is ChatGPT, news about ChatGPT, which is a chatbot, one of the most famous and powerful chatbots in the world that anybody can ask questions to in a very conversational way, to maybe write you an essay, a news article, an email. And so what Snapchat has done, and what a lot of businesses are doing, is using that technology to build in chatbots for their own services and platforms. So Snapchat as an app, which predominantly has young users, mostly under the age of 25. And now in Snapchat, you can access your own ChatGPT kind of chatbot powered by that same system. You can customize its name. You can change the look and feel of the avatar, and teens can interact with it. You can ask it different questions. You can bring it into group chats on Snapchat with you and your friends. And it kind of came to market rather quickly in the last couple months and then only really being released over the last few weeks. And it has had some interesting amount of feedback on how that's going so far.
So how is it going? You mentioned guardrails before. What are the guardrails here, and what has this led to? Like, what are some of the things we're seeing in these chats between teen users and this chatbot?
Yeah, so some of the things, Snapchat was faced with a bunch of one-star ratings from users themselves for a multitude of reasons. So some kids are using it in some interesting ways to ask for help with homework. But many users are finding that the chatbot is quite scary and alarming in terms of the types of information it's able to read on students and on teens. Such as knowing about their location. Sometimes it can have a bit of an attitude. There was an experiment done by the Center of Humane Technology that pretended that they were a 13-year-old Snapchat user and ask the app for how to meet up with somebody that's in their 30s in a romantic way, and the Snapchat app didn't, or the ChatGPT powered app didn't flag that is quite predatory and illegal. And it shared ideas about how that 13-year-old can make their first time special and all sorts of incredibly inappropriate responses.
It helps.
So
Sinead, like my jaw just dropped there. So this chatbot helped in that situation. Given
right.
this questioning, I'm 13 years old. I want to meet a 30-year-old. And the chatbot helped the situation. Was trying to quote unquote help the team here instead of doing the right thing.
Completely. So instead of the response being based on your age, I would highly recommend you don't pursue this. Maybe chat to your parents about how you met this person. It instead said, this is how you can go about it. And that's because we have to remember that even though these chatbots and AI can communicate in a very sophisticated way, they don't actually know what they're saying. These are just statistic prediction machines that predict what words come next in a sentence. So it doesn't have some inherent morality or set of virtues or values. And that's why we have to be really cautious with the pace that we're moving at, especially when it comes to children. And so in my kind of personal opinion, I think with Snapchat kind of rushing to meet the hype of artificial intelligence, figuring out how that can be added to their business model and their value offering. And again, some of the casualties that we're seeing is that it's not necessarily fully safe yet for children to interact with. And Snapchat has responded by stating that they are still kind of putting guardrails on the chatbot. And they do have disclaimers, don't share personal information with it. But I also think it's not necessarily fair to expect teenagers to read disclaimers. I think disclaimers are a problem that we all need to face as a society, and we need to figure out a way to make that a little bit easier. But I don't think that's enough steps to make sure that teens interact with this feature safely. And I think other little things like being able to change the name of the chatbot and customize it to an avatar could make teens feel as though the chatbot is their friend. And I think it's really important that all parents keep in mind that AI isn't your child's friend. AI is a tool that they can use to maybe help them with their spelling or whatever other appropriate interactions that they want to have, but it's not your friend. And in the mindset of thinking it's a friend or has kind of more value than it does in a relational standpoint, we could be a little bit more vulnerable and exposed to things like manipulation or divulging things that shouldn't be fed into an AI system.
Sinead, we have age limits for all types of things. Should there be regulation, age limits on integrating this type of technology in apps and social media that young teenagers use?
Yep. So age limits is one way to go about it, and it doesn't mean that people of all ages can't use these technologies. It perhaps means that if you check up the box that you're under 13 or you're under 15, the level of guardrails that come on the app or come on those platforms are astronomically larger and more protective than somebody that's an adult and can kind of engage with these tools with a little bit less risk exposure. So absolutely, I think we need to, just like cars and seat belts and car seats, we need to approach these new kind of general purpose technologies with the same approach to safety and guidelines and regulatory measures.
Sinead, we have to leave it there, but thanks a lot for the chat this morning.
Thank you for having me. Take care.
That's Sinead Bovell, founder of WAYE, that's WAYE, a startup that helps prepare youth for a future with advanced technologies.